Good topics today. Well, I got some awesome specials for you guys right off the bat. I mean, blood work right away. So, cut this into a clip. Blood work is super important, and Type Medical Center wants to make sure you guys get full in depth panels. And not these janky full panels that people are pushing out there. I'm talking about really in depth panels for great pricing. So at that point, when you're looking for something like that, we have a Halloween special going on right now, which will only last for 2 days. So maybe not cut that. Sorry, guys. At that point, I want to do a Halloween special. Well, let's just lead right into it. Maybe I was doing that anyway. So the Halloween blood work special is for all you guys to take advantage of all the way until Thursday, October 31st, which is Halloween. And if you guys aren't excited about Halloween, I don't know why not. Everybody can dress up like whoever they want to be on that day. I know people do that on an everyday basis nowadays, but this can be worldwide accepted and everybody have fun doing it. Especially if you have kids, you should be dressed up with your kids and keeping that imagination going for your kids, right? Because we all know as we get to adulthood, that adulthood, kind of sucks to a certain degree. You lose some of that imagination and playfulness and openness, when you have when you're as a kid, I guess, as you grow up and, you lose some of that because you have to be more serious and you have a lot more responsibilities on your plate, which leads into why you should get blood work, because you might be responsible not just for your own life, but for other people's lives, right? Whether it's your family or friends or whatever it may be, you want to make sure that you're as healthy as possible. So listen, if anything happens to them, then you can help, right? Or you can take care of your own self and nobody has to help you out what's going on with yourself. Now, everybody needs a helping hand nowadays. And here and out, you're going to have some probably troubling times in your life, right? Whether you're younger or older. And at that point, you got to make sure that, with these troubling times, you can get through these troubling times and become stronger. And that just is what it is. So blood work is really important by looking on the inside of your body to see what's going on, to make sure that you have everything, in check, right? Optimized and where you want it to be, feeling good, right? Feeling the best you possibly can. And that's what's really important with it. So, oh, wow. Sorry. Got my, there we go. I had to turn that volume down. So that's what's really important, right? I mean, really checking out what's going on inside. So guys, Male Blood Panel is back for you, $130 for the full in-depth panel, nationwide service. So wherever you're at, we will send you in to a lab that's closest to you in your zip code. Females, it's $200, and there's more blood tests and panels on your full in-depth panel than the males, so it's a little bit more money. But it covers a wide range of different things for both males and females. We're not just interested in hormones. We want to make sure a lot of the other things are in check or in line too as well. And when we go through some of these different things, and you can cut this, so we want to make sure that we're going through a full in-depth panel. And that full in-depth panel has to do with comprehensive metabolic panel, which has almost like 14 tests in that panel alone. And the major highlights of that panel are your liver, your kidneys, your electrolytes. And then we go on to a complete blood cell count. And this is really going to look for your white blood cell count, red blood cell count, hemoglobin, and hematocrit. And I've talked about hemoglobin, hematocrit, red blood cell count before, making sure, especially when you're on TRT, hormone replacement therapy, or any androgen for that case, that you want to definitely check these levels and make sure that these levels don't get too high because your blood can get too thick. And that can lead to these different things that we talked about before, DVT, blood clot, and stroke. But the white blood cell count will determine possibly if you have an infection too as well. So, there's information there that they want to look at, and there's some other information in that panel too as well. After that, we're going to go down to, if you're a male, a PSA, which is a prostate. So we're going to look at a prostate level by blood and see where it's at. And at that point, if it's enlarged or something's going on, usually that level comes back higher. Usually everybody's normal unless there's something going on. So we want to make sure we check that, because it doesn't matter how young you are or how old you are. But as you get older, there is a higher risk for prostate cancer and other prostate issues. But we have seen younger people, males, get some abnormal readings here or there. So it's always good to know where you're at there and always keep this in a file so you can always look back and see where you were at. After that, we want to look at like a cholesterol panel. So We want to look at this, and at that point, it's a lipid panel, and the lipid panel is going to look at a couple different things like total cholesterol, triglycerides, right? We also want to look at HDL, which is your good cholesterol. And everybody asks, how do you get your good cholesterol up? And your good cholesterol can come up in a couple different ways. One way is eating good fats. And you're going to ask, hey, what are the good fats? One is an avocado. Avocado has good fats in it. There are different nuts and stuff like that you can take or eat, not take, but eat. So at that point, you can grab it from there. They also say 1 glass of red wine per day. 1 glass of red wine per day would be suffice to help raise HDL2 as well. And eating a good nutritious diet, whole foods. This is a very important part of this, and not eating bad foods. And let's go on to an LDL. So that's a bad cholesterol reading. And we don't want this bad cholesterol reading to go high. So what can we do to subside this LDL, HDL, and LDL, I guess, bad cholesterol reading? And what can we do is we can not eat processed foods. We cannot eat, fried foods. We want to stay on like I said, a good nutritional diet. Want to stay away from anything that's going to be very, very bad for you. And that's anything that you pretty much see about 80% of your food that if you walk into a supermarket. I think it's 70, 80%. I mean, are processed. They have all kinds of preservatives, all kinds of bad things, chemicals that you don't want to be intaking in your body. So if you can stay away from these things, your LDL will start lowering down. Now, when we come down to the ratio, which is HDL and LDL, good cholesterol versus bad cholesterol, that'll ratio out and tell you kind of where you're at. And that really tops the cake. If you really had to look at it, like maybe your LDL was a couple points high, but your HDL was really, really high. This overtakes and overbalances that LDL reading. So look at the HDL, LDL reading, which will be on that blood panel too as well. And then we go on to a thyroid panel, a TSH, T3, and T4. We want to look at the thyroid stimulating hormone and the way that your thyroid is working, right? So we look at a couple of different tests for that. After that, we want to get into a free and total testosterone ranges for both males and females because they both correlate and to what's going on. So some providers will only test for free testosterone. Some providers will only test for total testosterone. And by doing this, and you can cut this, Brian, by doing this, they're only looking at one aspect of the picture. And by that, and by what I mean is that if you look at just a total, yeah, you have a total, right? So if you correlate that number with the guy, and the guy says, oh, I'm not feeling good, like I feel fatigued, and I'm not recovering, and sex drives down the toilet, then you're like, well, what else is going on here? Because your total testosterone is great. And at that point, you got to look at the free, because if your total's good and your free is low or deficient, your body's not utilizing what it has in its reservoir to use. So when this happens, this is when you get low T symptoms too as well. And both total and free testosterone can both be low too as well. And that's what happens majority of the time. With this fact that, you can turn it and say, listen, when you go on testosterone replacement or hormone replacement therapy, then usually both of those numbers will go up together. If they get bound up, there is something that will help unbound that testosterone from your SHBG, your sexual hemoglobin binding globulin. So if this level is high, then your free testosterone is going to be low. If your SHBG is low, your free testosterone is going to be high. That means it's unbound. It's getting utilized throughout the body, and you're getting all the effects from that medication or hormone in your body. So that's the real way to do it, and that's the best thing about it. So after that, we're going to go into progesterone. This is another big one for both males and females. And then we're talking about estradiol for males, and then total estrogens we add on for females. So, there's a couple different tests there. We're looking at all the different hormones to make sure we're balancing. And then IGF-1. So we want to talk about insulin-like growth factor 1. And when we talk about this on a blood test, this panel is, I think, an important panel to run along with free and total testosterone, estrogen or estradiol, and progesterone. Because, this is essentially what your growth hormone is. Like, this is your conversion in growth hormone. So growth hormone goes from your pituitary down to the liver, converts, and then it converts in IGF-1, where you get all the benefits from growth hormone. So this is an important reading to know and know where you're at, because If this level's low, then at that point you could be prematurely aging, bad recovery, sleep might suck, all these different things might happen. With a good IGF-1 reading, then this helps for more optimal things to happen in the body too as well, for quicker repair, for leaning up to gain lean muscle mass and such. Even good for anti-aging as far as slowing down that clock. And we all know we all want to slow down the clock. I don't care what you say or you don't say. I mean, we only have limited time on this earth. And at that point, if we can slow down, the way we're feeling and live longer, at that point, we really want to do that. And that's kind of where everything is going. And that's why I picked the field we're in with prevention, preventive medicine and being preventative. So IGF-1 reading is going to be on there too as well. And then we're going to test for B12. That's obviously a very common vitamin, but there are people that are deficient or low on B12 too as well, especially if you're vegan. This is something you definitely want to look at. And at that point, that is the full blood panel. So you're getting all this for $130 for guys, $200 for females. And at that point, like I said, there's a couple more panels on there. And nationwide, so wherever you're at, we can send you in for blood testing. And we expedite the blood panel. So you don't have to wait 2 weeks to get your blood panels. You're going to wait 3 to 4 business days. We'll get them in 3 to 4 business days, contact you, get you set up with a medical provider nationwide that you can do a video conference with for a telemedicine visit. Very simple, very easy. You get up to 45 minutes for this visit. So in this visit, they're going to explain if you get a blood test. They're going to go over your blood test with you in full depth. They're going to go over your symptoms, what your goals are, what your health history is, what your family health history is, and personalize a regimen for you. And you're going to know it's a medical provider because you're going to be able to see them. There's a lot of places that are not doing this, right? And you should be able to know who you're talking to, especially when it's supposed to be prescribed, and you might be injecting these things in your body. How important is it to you to really take care of yourself and to make sure that, what you're getting is what you're supposed to be getting, So don't cheap yourself out too as well. Make sure you're getting proper service, proper monitoring. We make sure we go the extra mile for our patients. We've been around for 12 years, so God bless on that. I think we're one of the oldest, long-lasting preventative medicine, HRT clinic, whatever you want to call us, out there. So we've been all through everything, and it's just been a crazy ride, and we're going to just keep going and keep growing. So at that point, new therapies are coming out for you guys too as well. So let's talk about the next therapy of the week. This therapy of the week is our Limitless package. And our Limitless package combines 2 really, really cool things. One is NAD, and I talk the world of NAD, and I've been talking about it for years and years and years. Before it was cool, before everybody was talking about it out there, I was talking about NAD and taking NAD, and so were our patients. So NAD is a really, really big proponent. Now, what are you going to get from NAD? Mental clarity, protecting your DNA, right? I mean, these are 2 big things right off the bat. Mental clarity and protecting my DNA, and helping from protecting the brain from neurodegenerative diseases that can affect you and affect a lot of people out there right now. Alzheimer's, dementia, you name it. So at that point, this is a really, really good one. You're talking about, revitalizing cells, and repairing at cellular level with NAD. That's just one component of the Limitless package. Number 2, if that's not enough, and by itself, NAD is just a knockout king, then we're going to talk about dihexa. Now, dihexa is one of those nootropic things, right? It's one of these therapies that is going to help with short-term and long-term memory, memorizing things. And you only have to take this a couple times a week as a maintenance dose. So super cool, and combining these 2 together should help you reach that limitless mindset and being able to, think clearer, hopefully, be able to process things faster, and be able to shine where you really need to shine mentally, and especially for mental clarity, or whether it's speeches or whatever it may be, or even these lives like this, right? I mean, I do like to take dihexa. I've taken every therapy out there that we've had. So I do like dihexa. I mix it in here or there. I'm just on so many different therapies at that point, and I like to be regimented, and I like to know what's working. So at that point, I do switch around here or there and add in different components or minus different components so I can get different results or achieve different things, or see what I can achieve with maybe stacking some different things together that maybe I can give you guys some recommendations of what I'm doing to to share the information with you guys. That's what it's all about. I mean, think about this. I mean, all the science is, I mean, thank God it's finally coming on. But in the medical community, I mean, geez, testosterone replacement therapy 12 years ago, people were telling me I was crazy even over this clinic. I was nuts. I was going to go to jail and like all these crazy things. But if you do it the right way in anything in life, you're going to get good success usually, or at least be able to hold your head high. So that's what it is. Now the price for these different packages. So it's going to be $475 for the level 1 dihexa and the NAD. Now the NAD comes with a 1,000 milligram package, and you can disperse that or inject it however you want to. That's the best thing about it. You're in control. You can take it daily. You can take it on the days you really need it. You can do maintenance doses per week, whatever you want. And our provider is going to go over this with you. And you can ask them, hey, listen, what do you think I should do and how do you think I should take this? And they'll give you a personalized regimen and give you some ideas about how you should be doing it. And then you get full support from Titan Medical Center. Here, our medical staff is here for calling, texting, emailing to make sure you guys get the information you guys need to be successful with your therapies and get the results that you want. Because that's what it's all about. That's why you guys come to Titan Medical Center. That's why we're here, and we're here to help you guys achieve your goals and get you guys the results that you guys want. So at that point, whatever you guys are trying to achieve, you guys just got to let us know, and then we're going to start working down that path together to get you guys the optimal results and the fast, hopefully, results. Big shout out to everybody that's on my live. I appreciate it. I literally don't go live on these things. I know there's like a couple people on here earlier, so big shout out to everybody that has been on my live. I appreciate it. And at that point, I've changed it over. The Titan Medical Center page is down right now as far as the live goes. So I had to go on here for my Instagram. Might as well try it out. I've got a couple other pages too. But big love and big respect to everybody out there. Big shout out to Midwest Kong, Kaji Gus, Ed John, Melissa Roberts, Dr. Marks Fran, Michael, what's going on? How you doing, Phil? And Big Monk CEO, what's going on? Yeah, so that's really what I want to share with you guys. I want to share with you guys the packages, kind of what's going on, and I'll discuss one topic with you guys. So I was reading through the news, and I'm always reading through the news, looking for different articles to share with you guys. Something that brings some sort of value to the conversation of what we're having. So, when we talk about being overweight, being obese, how do they really test for that? Now, there's a lot of different ways you can test for somebody to be overweight, obese, or what their body fat percentage is. But what is the standard, per se, in the medical community? What's the standard? So the standard for the medical community, and it's a shame it's still like this, but it's still the BMI. It's the body mass index. And the BMI usually goes by height, weight, and then at that point, it determines like how much you should weigh and where you fall, if you weigh these different amounts. And that could be somebody that's 6 foot should weigh 185 pounds per se, right? And I'm not saying that's what it is. I'd have to look at the chart. I don't even remember what it is anymore. But when you look at the BMI chart at that point and you see the number and you're like, oh man, you look at somebody that might be 6 foot and might be 230 pounds, jacked, shredded, conditioned, veins going down the abs straight popping out, just looking ridiculous. Those people are going to come up as obese, right? Because they're going to overweigh what the BMI is for their height and weight. And that's kind of deceiving, right? Because the person's not what you're saying. And at that point, we really need to look at that. And when you really need to determine, is it muscle? Is it just fat? What's the determining factor here? What's the variable? And, we can do body fat percentages, which I think, obviously will play a part. And then look at, fat-free mass. Fat mass and fat-free mass will be the two things you want to look at there. And you can test for this too. And that's what I think that the medical community should go towards. Different testing to determine really where a patient is. Because our obese and overweight numbers are through the roof and they're ridiculous. So when we look at that, we're like, oh man, we're really headed towards trouble. And I was talking about this the other day where they have an article out where they're saying by 2030, a fit body will be worth $1 million or a rare Rolex. So, is there any skew or is there any mishap maybe, I guess, in the counting of fat and obese? Maybe there's people, because there's there's not a lot of bodybuilders in the big aspect of things, but there's a lot of bodybuilders. And if we take in all those guys into account and girls, this could, change it a little bit. I don't know about how much, but either way, when you look around and there's a lot more people that are obese, overweight that are around you, you're probably still getting about 6 to 7 out of 10 people in a room that are going to be obese or overweight. And at that point, it really does prove that those numbers are correct too as well. But hey, I tried to give it a shot and look at it, and play devil's advocate. What's up, John? Hope everything is well. Jose, I hope everything is well with you too, man. Everything is good here. Thank God. God bless to everybody out there. Give trend to everyone. Can't give trend to everyone. So that's another thing. So trend's another one, big one out there. So, everybody wants to take trend. Everybody talks about trend. Everybody jokes about trend. And it's funny to joke about it, I guess. But, when we see the younger guys out there and we're talking about trend, it brings up, more of the curiosity of, hey, maybe I want to take this, And I know younger guys, even my son, he's like, they want to get big and they want to get big quick. And at that point, they think that going with some of these different things is going to get them bigger quicker. And, when you're young like that, you're still growing. And introducing some of these different things, I'm not saying introducing trend is going to stunt your growth or cut off your growth, but at that point, you're starting to mess with the body a little bit. And not in a healthy way either. So I think that trend was a big thing. I think a lot of people still use it, obviously. But I don't think it's the best thing for people to utilize to get the result that they want to get. Because there's so many different negative side effects with it. And at that point, are the negative side effects really worth the benefits that you're getting from it? Right? I mean, the jury's out on that one, I guess, to a certain degree. But, overwhelmingly, it should be that, no, that's not worth the risk and the reward as far as that goes. Especially different people react different ways. And even just getting trend cough, right, by injecting it. Trend cough sucks. So if you're taking this stuff, I would definitely advise not to take it anymore and look at some different options that we have, or if you don't want to go through us, somebody else might have, to really get you to where you want to go in a more healthier aspect. Because later on in life, you're going to need that health. So you want to take care of your body until you die, and essentially your whole life, you want to take care of what's taking care of you, and that's your body, that's yourself. So give yourself the best possible chance of living the longest, best quality of life you possibly can. Jay Jacobs in the house, what's going on? I hope everything is good. But yeah, I mean, that is what it is. So BMI, I really would throw it out. Don't worry about BMI. I mean, to a certain extent. Now, listen, if you're overweight and you have a belly and your BMI is through the roof, then you should probably listen to that BMI. If you're 6 foot and 230 pounds and jacked and shredded, conditioned, the whole nine, then you probably don't need to worry about that. Now, that doesn't mean you don't need to worry about maybe your vital organs like your liver, your kidneys, or something like that, maybe your heart. But as far as body fat, as far as being overweight and obese, that is what I'm saying. Because at that point, most of those guys that I know are that size, and they're very low on body fat percentage. I mean, running around like every day of like maybe 10, maybe 9, like daily. Really getting down into the numbers when they compete. So it's kind of crazy how they can do that, but I don't know. I mean, I run around, maybe 10, 11. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still going. We'll see how long though I can go and how good I can sustain. So that's it, guys. That is a show for this week. Titan Talk Tuesday with me, John CEO. I'll be back next Tuesday, and I'll probably be on my personal page at least one more week. I think I got like 12 days or 13 days to go on my band of lives. So we will see you guys then. Until then, join me on my my Tsikouris J page, my personal page on Instagram, and I'll share this on the Titan Medical Center page because I didn't even share it. So these people just came on. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you next Tuesday. Blood work special nationwide. Guys, $130. Girls, $200. Get the discount. Take advantage of it. New patients, old patients. It's on you guys. The Limitless package. Dihexa, NAD. If you don't know about these two, call or text us. 727-389-3220 and learn how you can have better mental clarity. You can repair at cellular level, and you can protect your DNA all at one snap, and you have better memory all the way through and through.